All right, good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's had a good week. We've not had too bad of a week here. We're back on Print Pretzels Wednesday nights. Had some excellent news with our wood PLA. Sorry for the non-muted computer. So we got some cool things that we're working on. We're just wrapping up filming for our top 5 3D printers for kids series for the holiday season. That's Black Friday's right around the corner. Some of the print companies are already doing their Black Friday sales, but I really want to capture those last minute, really intense price drops. So we got our A1 Mini going here, our Alphie, as we like to say, doing some hard work. We got some things that we're going to talk about tonight, like glow filament and the troubles that we've had with it. Definitely going to talk about wood PLA and the issues we're having with Arco on that. Going to work on the Arco a little bit tonight, so stay tuned for that so we can get back in order. So hope everyone's doing well. I'm going to grab my chair real quick because I forgot to do that. Give everybody a few minutes to get into the chat here. So we're printing on the A1 Mini here with Alphie, and with the glow filament that we're using, which is a couple of different ones. I've had the same issue with the Sun or eSun glow filament, the Polymaker glow filament. The only one I haven't had an issue with is the Strong Hero 3D glow filament, which seems to not be as coarse on the outside. The issue that I'm having with the A1 Mini is when it retracts, since it's so coarse, it rubs on the inside of the PTFE deep, so it doesn't have the power to pull it out with the AMS light. Havoc 3D, did you see the new Anycubic printer? No, I have not. We'll have to check that out here in just a second. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the live stream. Let's check that out real quick. Anycubic new printer. The S1 Max. Let's check it out. I'll turn on the screen share here in a minute. Let's give a few more minutes for people to join us. Another new printer coming in just before the holidays. It's like they know. It's like they know people are going to be shopping. All right, let's get back to our chat here. Cobra S1 Max, yes. So I'm excited about that to see what's going to go on with that. We got our tools here ready to work on our Phrozen Arco in a little bit. We got our A1 Mini going. I'll get to show you guys some of the troubleshooting that I'm doing with that right now. Quick side note on that, the A1 and A1 Mini hub that is being released from Bambu should be coming out soon. I got an email today about it that they said it was available, but I clicked on it and it wasn't available. I think the price is going to be right around $14 or so for that, which allows you to use any of the AMS systems, the standard AMS or the AMS 2 Pro, which we got a couple of those, with this system, which I think will solve the issue that we're having with the AMS light and this glow filament and not being able to retract. Give a few minutes here. So tonight on Print Pretzels, we're going to... my lovely fiance Abby has bought me these buffalo pretzels. I am not a person for hot pretzels or hot any food, so you might see me sweating a little bit tonight on tonight's episode. I got some backup pretzels. We got the birthday pretzel still from one of the other episodes. We got our no clogger tool. That's a pretty important tool to have if you're 3D printing. I'll probably do an episode on like the must-have 3D printer tools in the near future here. We got our print finish from last week on the Phrozen Arco. We did get that Tiki Totem fully printed. It turned out beautiful. But it caused me some issues later on. I think David was partially right on last week's episode. David, I got one of the hubs yesterday. We'll have to give it a go this weekend. David, you got one of them yesterday? How did you get one yesterday? I couldn't even order it. That's weird. I'll have to see if I can get it. That's cool. Yeah, give it a go. Let me know how it goes because I would really like to know if it solves that retraction issue when you get coarse filaments like glow PLA. But back to the Frozen Arco here for a second. And we had great success with this tiki totem. This thing's huge. It's wood PLA, so I mean I expected it to be rough around the edges, and I want it to be because it's supposed to feel like wood. It does feel like wood. Some of the flaws that I'd like to point out on this, and it's probably to do with how I adjusted the what's the word I'm looking for? The Z-axis height of the supports when I went in there and did that. Still a little rough right here, but I was afraid that they would fuse to it if I left them too far. So right around the top of the mouth, but after that, it was golden. This turned out really well. Shout out to CJ. This is the prototype that I'm gonna do for the tiki lamp. As you can see, that it is hollow and awesome. But that thing that I was telling everybody about last week with the LEDs that I got around it, I have it right over here. Let me grab it off camera here real quick. It doesn't quite fit into it. So the next time I print this, I'll probably print it a little bit bigger. But it's just an LED light strip tube that I've printed. Yeah. So I want to be able to put this inside here. And it's just ever slightly too big for it. So the next one I print off, I'll probably print it off and I'll blow it up sideways and depth-wise, make it look a little fatter. And that way we'll be able to slide this right in there and you will hopefully, you'll be able to see the LEDs in there a little bit, but maybe I'll print a different one of these out, maybe a little shorter. But eventually, once we get the multicolor kit for this, we're going to get that going and get these colored in with glow-in-the-dark translucent eyes and maybe some multicolor for the crown for like feathers and rainbow colors. But this printed out great. I am super excited on this. Some of the issues that around the eyes, you can't really see it on camera. Around the eyes there, it looks like there's a little bit of under extrusion in parts. But I mean, with wood PLA and a 0.4 nozzle, I'm very happy with it. And on that note is where the problem comes in from last week. So after this finished, I printed a vase, which was about this high. That printed out great, no issues there. But after the vase, I went to print the top of the vase. It's an acorn vase. And the top, I can't, the printer wants to keep saying that it's running out of filament. And I know it's got a full roll on there, so I know it's not that. So my theory is that there's something stuck inside of it. So here shortly, we're going to go through and no clogger it, see if that works. It usually works with my A1 Mini that gives me the same issue. Havoc 3D. The buffalo wing pretzels are awesome. Oh, I hope you're right. I really hope you're right. And then I'll owe Abby an apology. So let's try them before we get into that. You guys can see me sweat. They're hot. Woo, they're hot. Oh. Oh my word. I'm only eating 2 of these. I'm only eating 2 of these. The taste is good, but I can already feel on the sides of my tongue. Ow. Ow. Oh. Ow. I am not one for spicy stuff. Don't hate me. I am very sensitive when it comes to spicy stuff. But we'll get into the birthday cake ones. Get a little sweet and spicy here. Much better. All right. Let's look at this Anycubic K1 Max here. Let me get the screen share going here. We're going to open up the screen capture. We're going to close the webcam footage here real quick. So we got the Anycubic S1 Max combo. The grand design. $50 deposit, $100 off early bird. That seems like how it's kind of going with these new printers that are coming out. You back it with a deposit and then you get a bigger discount later. I think it happened with the Snapmaker if I remember correctly. I know that happened with the LE Centauri Carbon when it first came out. Get yours before the... This is the second time I've seen this somewhere today. I feel like I've seen it. I saw it on another printer when I was doing earlier today. Oh, it's the Flash Forge. On the Flash Forge website, get yours before price hike. Is something coming that I'm not aware of here? Are we going to jack up the prices on our printers? Or are they trying to create FOMO? Fear of missing out? It's interesting. So let's see if... I'm going to go back here. Let's see what happens when we click the pay deposit. Well, I'm not paying a deposit, but... All right. What happened here? All right, so... Let's see, make sure we got on the chat. They got my $50 this morning. More tariffs. I don't want to get into the political things here or there. We'll just have to wait and see what goes on there. I hope not. You know, I don't want that to happen. I really, really want to get my hands on maybe a P2S or an H2C before that happens. But nobody likes tariffs. I mean, if you like tariffs, that's I don't understand, but you have a right to that opinion. Any Cubic Cobra S1 Max combo deposit, $50 deposit, get $100 off early bird. Deposit period November 5th through November 24th, which is cool. They give you through Thanksgiving, it looks like. They give you some time to think about it. Early bird payment starts November 25th. So they'll want their payment for that. Where does it tell you the price of it, though? S1 Max combo early bird. Okay. So now I want to know about the printer. They give you the combo kit, coloring kit with it. Tell me about your printer. Features. What makes Cobra S1 combo your perfect choice? That's that's bigger than the Arco. Holy crap. 350 by 350 by 350 print volume. That's significantly bigger than the Phrozen Arco. Fully enclosed Core XY. That seems to be the standard in the industry right now, so that's something special. 65-degree active heating chamber. That's pretty warm. 350 high temperature hot end with hardened steel nozzle. Okay, that's good. I think most of the Bambus, at least the early ones like the P1S and stuff, they go up to like a 320 or something like that. New Pro leading the game Ace 2 Pro. I feel like they could have worded that a little bit better. Saying Pro twice is kind of redundant. Maximum 16 color printing. Okay. We know the H2D can do more than that with the correct setup. Okay, here's where we get into the prices. Okay, that's a good price. $7.99. Wow. Okay. Oh, something I need to note before we go too much further. If you're looking at buying the Frozen Arco, I am in touch with Frozen's marketing team, and they are potentially going to be doing Black Friday deals as well. I think November 11th that they're also going to be dropping the price on the Frozen Arco, so stay tuned for that. Founders price $7.99. Okay, so pre-order in February it's going to be $1,000. Okay, but it's about the same as the Snapmaker. But I want to know, is this just a standard color 3D printer? Is there any tool heads on this? Nozzle swappers? What do we got going on here? Save $300 instantly. And if I'm glossing over anything, guys, let me know. Havoc 3D, are they shipping yet? Are you referring to the U1? I I think the U1 is shipping. I just don't think they're shipping not high quality, high quantities of items yet. 50% off filament, 4-pack worth $50. So Anycubic's gonna give you some of their filament. Well, not give, but discount filament. I want to know more about the printer. So the Max Combo. So this looks like a standard color printer, which is great that that's a standard now. You get their color kit with it. You get that massive build volume. I like to see that. What did David say? David said cheaper than the K2 Plus and the same build size. Print volume, lots of supported filaments. That's good. Ah, here's where something catches my eye. The recommended print speed is 300 millimeters per second. That's kind of, I know everybody advertises a 600, a 1,000, 800. I wonder if this is their recommended speed, not their max speed, which is good to see. Because that's about 300 to 450 is anywhere where you're going to normally print something at. If you go any faster than that, especially with some of these machines, it gets kind of ludicrous and you can get some issues going on there. We have active chamber heating we just talked about. The nozzle diameter, you have a 0.4, except points 0.2, 0.6, and 0.8. Okay, so that's something that I want to bring up for the Phrozen Arco. I reached out to Phrozen's website, or Phrozen's support, and currently they don't offer a 0.6 nozzle or a 0.8 nozzle. It's just a standard 0.4. I don't know if they're working on it or not. I didn't ask that question, but I was looking to get that 0.6 nozzle so I could continue using wood filament and not have as much issue as what we're having now. Nozzle material, hardened steel, that's good to see. I'm glad to see that the industry is moving towards those hardened steel nozzles because these coarser filaments, such as glow filaments and wood filaments, and there's one other one that I can't think of right now, carbon fiber, or anything that has fibers in a glass fiber, all those are going to be really coarse. So it's important to have those hardened steel nozzles. I want to know if they have a hardened steel extruder too. Pressure advanced flow calibration supported. Those are all good things. Time-lapse recording, that's good. 720p monitoring. I think the PU2 S is a little higher quality than that. I don't remember right offhand. But it is a smaller build volume. That's the trade-off you're going to get there. Object skip supported, land mode supported. Well, that's nice to know. There is an Ethernet port on it. That's cool because I would love to have all my stuff on Ethernet if I had Ethernet ports. Looking at you, Bambu. I don't want to pay an extra $1,000 just to have an Ethernet port like you do on your H2D Pro. Network connectivity, Wi-Fi 6, Ethernet connection, printing method, UDisk. I'm assuming that's USB. Anycubic slicer, Anycubic app, so it looks like it will be able to print Wi-Fi. That's good. That also seems to be industry standard now. When will be released? How can I purchase it? Officially launch on November 25th, from November 5th to November 24th, paying a deposit, which we automatically applied when. Okay. Any users who don't pay a deposit can purchase directly from, but without a deposit voucher. When will it ship though? Would paying a deposit be more cost-effective than purchasing the Cobra S1 Max Combo directly on launch date? Yes, you will receive a discount of $100 if you pay the $50 deposit, giving you even more savings. You can pay it from November 5th to November 24th. The deposit is non-refundable. If I place multiple deposit orders, can I use multiple deposit vouchers at the same time? No, you cannot use multiple deposit vouchers at the same time. When I receive a confirmation, these are all pretty standard questions. How can I track my order and where can I see estimated shipping time? That's important. We will update the estimated shipping information on this page later, which you can check anytime. From any questions, you can also connect. Okay, so they don't have an estimated ship time. That's, to me, this is like saying, okay, this could be on Kickstarter too, and we don't know when we're going to ship it. We got this new printer coming out. Here's some cool specs about it, but we don't know when we're going to put it out. That makes me a little leery on this. It looks this looks very, very promising as far as the build plate size. I like that they're doing recommended speeds and not max speeds, because you're not going to use the max speeds more than likely unless you're printing just like functional parts and not aesthetically looking parts. Pretty fast accelerations. So it looks cool. You know, they say that you could pay $800 now or $1,000 later if you order it later. I think I'm gonna wait, just because, yeah, you get a $200 discount, but you don't know when it's gonna ship. If it may not ship till next year, we don't know. But I do like the fact that it's got that build size. That is very close, if not the same as, I believe, the H2D. I know because of the dual nozzles, it's got that like area that you can't really print in. So like the H2S would be the same build size approximately, I would think. But all right, Havoc, the Arco. The Arco has shipped to its backers, or as far as I'm aware of, almost all the backers should have their Frozen Arcos by now. If they haven't, I would contact customer service and see where your printer's at. Let me get the Frozen cameras back going here. So if you have not got your Frozen Arco yet, as far as I'm aware of, everybody's supposed to have theirs by now or know where theirs is at in the production. I think everybody should have their Apprentice Shield by now too. And mid-November, so 2 weeks, is estimated that the chroma kits will be starting to ship out if they haven't already. I'm excited for that. Also, if you haven't liked and subscribed on the channel, I'm super excited. We're at 980 subscribers last time I checked. We're so close to that 1K subscriber mark. I'm super excited about that. We're going to print a pretzel with the chroma kit when it gets here to celebrate that. If it hasn't happened by then we'll hold off on that until, because I want that to be the first print for the Frozen Arco, our 1K subscriber mark. That it's been a long journey to get there, but I'm so stoked on that. So let me check up on the comments here and see how we're doing. New 100% is coming down the pipe. It seems like every other day with the tariffs, they're changing. This is pure speculation, but if I was one of these companies trying to launch this new product, I would bake those into the costs, and that's just what it was going to have to be. It is a rough time to be a 3D printing company right now with the ongoing tariff wars. I hope that at some point in time in the future, we can get back to stable price points and back to hobby printing and not have to worry about all this other stuff. But as far as I'm aware of, if you back to U1, any tariffs that happen, you're covered by that. As far as I'm aware, for the Frozen Arco, we should be covered by that because we brought our printers 2 years ago. So I don't know how that's going to entail, but I'm pretty sure we're covered on that. As far as like the Bambus, I don't know. They keep saying, I've seen on their website, contact your authorized reseller, which means I think they're trying to get around the tariff situation there, because if it's a reseller, they're kind of doing the Apple approach, the reselling in America. So it's rough right now. Hopefully this situation clears up and we won't have to worry about it anymore. But so without further ado, let's get into talking about what happens with this Frozen Arco. I'm going to scoot over to the side here. I did get a new camera set up for this, so hopefully it'll be helpful for you guys when I'm working on it so you can see. But what's happening with our Phrozen Arco after the last week's print of the wood PLA. The printer wants to keep saying there's no the spool has run out of filament, which I know is not true. It's got filament all the way down in there, and if I click reload spool, it reloads it and goes on just fine for about 2 minutes and then does it again. So my theory is that we need to clear out whatever gunk is in there right now. Havoc 3D, what rack system are you using? What do you mean by rack system? Do you mean like the things that our printers are on right now? Momo. Table's a little crowded right now, buddy. If that's what you mean, I use the B-roar system in conjunction with the SCADA system. Both are from IKEA. I actually am getting ready to film some, or not getting ready to film some content. I have filmed some content on how to combine those systems and use them with the printers that we use. As far as controlling like the poop flow, the purge waste out of the printers, you will have to cut a little slot in the back below your poop chute and put some sort of trash receptacle underneath it, and you'll be able to collect all your purge here. I'm going to do the same thing with the Phrozen Arco. I know they're going to send me that purge conveyor belt thing, but it's just, for me, it's a no-brainer to just have it drop straight down into the bin, and I get way, way less printer clogs because of a backed up poop chute. You know, develop my own Pepto-Bismol for our printers. But back to the Phrozen Arco. So it keeps wanting to tell me that there's no filament in there. It looks like I answered your question there, Havoc. So I'll put a link in the description of this video, and also check out our first SCADAS video. You'll see in there what we did for the SCADAS panels. The next one's going to be how to upgrade it with different tools and stuff. And then the third one will be how to combine it with the B-roar system, the little brackets that we've printed on Maker World for that. It keeps it super organized, and it really helps. And even the P1S, somebody has designed a file that you can put SCADAS panels on the side of your, you can 3D print your own SCADAS panels to organize around your printer, and the AMS system sits on top of that, which is nice. Andrew, welcome to the chat, buddy. Welcome to the live stream. Could be your filament runout sensor. There is an article to fix that on the Phrozen's website. Let's look at that right now. If that is the case, let me look at that before I turn the webcam or the screen capture on. Thank you for that, Phrozen Arco 3D printer. Filament fix. Sensor fix. Oops. Phrozen. Hi, Momo. Arco filament sensor fix. Adjusting false trigger of insufficient filament detection. Let's look at this together, guys. Thank you, Andrew, for that. Shout out to you for that. I'm going to turn the screen capture on. We're going to turn the camera off here. Someday I'll figure out how to not have that infinite screen of, and this is what I'm talking about with the coarse filament for the AMS light. If you're trying to print with glow filament or wood filament, anything as coarse that's going to rub on the inside of the PTFE tube, the AMS light cannot handle that friction, so it has a hard time printing with it and pulling it back out of the thing. So you have to manually pull it back, and then you're going to, whenever it catches up, you're going to resume. So if you can see my screen here, we're going to close out this tab here. I have this one out so I can keep track of the comments. Adjusting the false trigger of insufficient filament detection. If insufficient filament detection is falsely triggered, it may be due to misalignment caused by the Hall effect magnet shifting during use. Follow the steps below to adjust the sensor and restore normal operation. Tools required: 2.5 millimeter hex wrench. I have that right in front of us. Let me resume this. We got that. Since we pulled that back, it should continue. That's why I'm excited for the AMS hub for that printer. So remove the front cover. So now I'm going to switch back to the Frozen cam for you all. So that way you can see what I'm doing on screen. And I will adjust the camera so that you can see what I'm doing. So right now you can just see the build plate. So I'm going to turn off the webcam and turn off the screen capture. And I'm going to try to split screen this on the laptop so you guys can see what I'm doing. And I can also read the directions at the same time. This and then this. Okay. Okay. All right. So right now I'm reading the directions and I'll read them audibly while I adjust the camera. I'm excited that this is actually an article and I don't have to troubleshoot this all by myself because I would not know where to start. So you're going to see a little bit of my workbench right there real quick, guys, as I open the door. We're going to swing this camera arm back here, and then I'm going to move the printer head to where you can see it. I may have to adjust the camera too. So we're going to move this forward. Again, this is a new printer or new camera that I got specifically for these troubleshooting videos. So we're testing it out tonight. If you guys haven't, like and subscribe to the channel, as we will do many more of these videos together. I'm trying to make sure it's not crooked so that you guys can see properly. So there's the cover. So you can see that pretty well. I'm actually going to do something here real quick. I think I can keep both of these tabs open real quick. Just trying to get the video and the stuff at the same time, guys, so I can do this with you. So I can keep track of you guys' comments. All right, now we got her going. So we got that. You guys can see what I'm seeing. I can see your comments. All right, so the first step of remove the magnetic front cover, detach the magnetic front cover to access the extruder unit. It does not tell me to turn off the printer. I'm just making a note of making sure that, okay. We're gonna take off the front magnetic cover. You guys should be able to see my hands coming in here real quick. We're gonna take off our cover, and I'm gonna reach back for the mouse here and see what our next directions are. We take the cover off. They want us to unplug the blue connector with the red wire. Blue connector, red wire. We've done this before. So I'll unplug that. As you can see, we're disconnected. And they did exactly what I did in the document. They said it right on the build plate. They got their hex keys out there. First, disconnect the ribbon cable. So we're going to disconnect the ribbon cable. I'm really surprised they didn't tell us to turn the unit off first, especially with this cable. So we disconnected that. Then use the 2.5 millimeter hex wrench to remove the 3 screws securing the front unit. That is going to be, I gotta make sure I get the right, I don't know which one of these it is. that's going to be this screw, and this screw. So we're going to do that. Hey, I grabbed the right screwdriver at the right time. So they want us to remove these screws. Before I remove this completely, I'm going to go grab my screw bin. It's important to have some sort of container while you are doing this for your parts while you are working on it, because I have found the hard way. If you were working on this printer and you drop a screw by the X or any of the Z-axis rods, sorry, I just bumped the camera, it's going to cause you to have a headache getting it back out of there. It's, as I can see, there's already filament gunk down in there. I have a vacuum that I usually get stuck down in there and get stuff out of there. So now I'm going to continue with this removal of screws as requested by the, try to do this so you guys can see it on camera. So there's the first screw. We got that one. I'm going to check the comments, make sure we don't have any comments here. All right, then we're going to do the second screw. And then the third screw. I'll probably remix this video for a short or a long form video later on if this works. So there's the 3 screws. Just a quick note, I have not preheated my printer, so it's cold. For the correct removal process of the front extruder cover, please follow these steps before removing the black front cover. Heat up the nozzle according to the filament type. Okay, well, let's do that. We have PLA Plus in there right now from Sunlu, or PLA 2.0 Plus, and that's going to be 225. So we're heating that up. Okay, be careful. We're going to have a hot printer here. Retract the filament using the retract function under the tools extruder. Once the filament has been fully retracted, it is safe to remove the black front cover extruder. You know, Frozen, if you're going to have this reminder, put it in the beginning. So that way, before we take the screws out, that would be helpful. But we should still be able to remove the filament. Oh, no, we cannot. We're going to have to start over, guys. I'm going to stop this process because we will not be able to heat our machine without this ribbon cable connected. I just put the ribbon cable back on and we should be able to heat properly. If this works, I'll actually go back and reshoot all this footage. So right now I'm just waiting for it to heat, so I'll put the camera back on me. So as you can see, the A1 Mini is going again. It really struggles with the AMS light and coarse filament. All right, we're almost heated, so I'm gonna go back to the Frozen cam. So make sure you guys can still see me. There's no comments. So if you guys are watching this video, please do this preheating process before you take any of your screws out or even take the cover off. So you want to retract your filament. I'm retracting it right now, winding up the spool, and it should have pulled it off of there. So it's back far enough now that I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to reset it back to 0 so it cools off. It's going to cool off now. Probably take a little longer without that front cover fan on. You see a little bit of filament coming out of there. I think it's because of the negative pressure. All right, let's go. Yeah. Yep, I failed to pull back the filament again on the AMS. Take care of that. I can't wait for this Bambu AMS light, AMS 5. I gotta see if I can't get my hands on it. All right, so that's retracted. The filament's out of there. We're gonna continue on. Once the filament has been fully retracted, it's safe to remove the black front cover, extruder cover. Again, Phrozen. On your website, please, if you're watching this video, put that reminder before your first step of removing the cover. That would be super helpful, at least for me, because I would not have seen this blue reminder until obviously after step 2. Inspect the sensor assembly, which is going to be, what is, they have, did I miss something? Heat up the knob. Okay. Step 3 says inspect the sensor assembly. The inefficient filament detection is triggered by a Hall effect magnet. If the magnet has shifted, the increased gap may cause false detection. And they show a picture out here of trying to find where that part is at in here. It's got a white wire, a red wire, and a black wire going into it. I gotta take this ribbon cable back off, guys, before I forget. I don't want to hurt anything. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys on my screen here, maximize it, of what they're talking about. So, screen capture. Turn off the Frozen cam, turn off my cam. So I don't know if you can see my screen, but the third step says inspect the sensor assembly. The insufficient filament detection is triggered by a Hall effect magnet. If the magnet is shifted, the increased gap may cause false detection. So that's what this is right here, but I'm having difficulty finding where that is on the printer head. I don't think it's not on the back of the extruder cover, and I don't recognize the part that they have in their hands. And it doesn't have anything that you remove. So I'm guessing they want you to remove your, I'm going to take the PTFE tube off here, guys. Oops, there you go. Don't do that at home, kids. Hold on to your extruder parts, even if you got parts on order like I do. Okay, so here is where they're talking about, ouch, that's hot. Looks like this is the piece. Let's see if I can see it. Oh, I got to turn my camera back on. Sorry, guys. So you guys can see. We're going to turn off screen capture. Turn the Frozen cam back on. So I don't know if you can see on camera or not, but it looks like this is the piece that they're talking about here. And let's see what they want us to do with it. This is actually kind of hard to do, being reversed like this. All right, we're gonna put this here. This goes here. I just saw your comment, Andrew. You are absolutely correct. You have to remove the heater if you like you do with the clog. Found it. It's on the piece in your hand. Yep. So I think it's this piece right here. I'm trying to get it to where you guys can see it on camera. I think it's this piece right here. Yep, that's a magnet. Is my screwdriver sticks to it. So it's that piece right there on the screen. That little screw. Let's see what they want us to do with it. Adjust the hall sensor. Use the hex wrench to loosen the screw, securing the hall sensor board. Okay, just loosen it. All right, I'm gonna try to do this on camera and not drop it. So, lefty loosey, righty tighty. By the way, mine's still hot. Probably should have waited for the nozzle to cool down. Okay, I only loosened it about half a turn to see what they say next. Sorry, it's hard to stay stable on camera, guys. Remove the hall sensor board. All right, we're gonna do that. Doing it together, guys. Hopefully, we don't break nothing. Okay. Removing the hall sensor board. I'm assuming that at some point this screw is going to come out of here. I don't know if I can shake it out. I'm just going to tip this over. Nope, not going to let me shake it out. That is why I have these little guys. My handy dandy Cobalt needle nose pliers. So with this circuit board, you want to be very careful not to damage it with your needle nose pliers. My fingers don't fit in there. So I'm only giving it a light tug, so it looks like it needs to be loosened more. So I'm going to do that. You guys can see it. If I'm shaky, I apologize. All right, so now it's fully loosened and it should pop out of there. Nope, I am going to have to use the needle nose. Very, very carefully. We're going to grab that screw. We're going to drop it in our basket down there. And then they say they want us to remove it. Remove the hall sensor board as part of step 4. They want us to remove this hall sensor board. I don't know if you can see in there or not. Try to bring it up for a closer view. Right in here is where they want us to do stuff. So, oh, there we go. It's focusing now. Or was. Actually, I'm going to turn this light on so it should help with the focusing of the camera. There we go. So what they want us to work on, I'm assuming, is in this bay right here. Scroll down, look at our directions. Press the brass insert downward into the mechanism until it is flush with the side. So the brass mechanism, which is this, is flush with the side. Mine is flush with the side, so I don't think that's what our issue is. Let's look at our extruder area here while we got this open. To see if there's any other issues that we might notice. I don't see anything going on with that. So I'm wondering if I'm going to have to use our no clogger and push the filament out of there. My nozzle looks terrible. Do you guys see that? Can you see how gross that looks? Like, that's what happens after you print with wood filament. Wow. So, all right. So we're going to follow the steps and see what they say. But mine is flush with the sides per the directions. Remove the magnet and spring, then use a hex wrench to assist in reinstalling both components according to the reference image. Remove the magnet and spring. Okay. That's, I don't know if you guys saw that, but there's this tiny little magnet right here. Oh, whoa, whoa. This tiny little magnet this tiny little spring. I'll see if I can hold it in my hand so you guys can see. Whoop. Right. It's kind of hard to do this on camera. Let me see if I can't. There it is. That tiny little magnet and that tiny little spring right there. That's what I just removed out of there. And now I have to look at this camera real quick, or the screen, to see how they want it put back in. So your diagonal side, I'm going to set the spring in the basket real quick. If it'll get off the magnet. Dang. So I'm going to set this assembly down real quick, just so I can show you. So according to Phrozen, they want it inserted to where the slanted side goes in and the long side goes down as you're holding the assembly like this. Let's see if I can't get it on camera. I'll probably remake a video of this just so I can show you guys the proper way. So the long side down, long side down, and I need a screwdriver to do this. I wonder if it'll show me or let me do it this way. I'm going to put it over my screwdriver, the spring. You guys can see it. I have my spring over the screwdriver, or through the screwdriver through the spring. I'm going to place the magnet the way it's supposed to be. So if you can see on camera there, the long side is down, the short side is up, the spring is there, and they're saying that it needs to be inserted. Let's see if you guys can see what I'm doing here. See, it needs to be inserted back that way into there. And I'm not sure. It does not want to stay in there. Let's try this again. I'm going to use my thumb, maybe, or a finger or something to try to get that spring to stay in there. There we go. All right. I got it to stay in there. You have to use your finger to hold the spring back from pulling the magnet back out. So let's see if we can get you guys a shot of that down in there. Right. Let's see if I can't get the light in there more. It's down in that slot there to the left of that gold area. Check the comments, make sure I'm not missing anything here real quick, guys. Agree on the direction, but better than a lot out there. Careful, there's a spring under the board. There's a spring under the... Oh, yeah, I see that. That's the spring I was talking about. Agree on the directions, but better than a lot out there. Yes, I think the directions could be improved. They did the same thing I did according to the directions. They used their finger to make sure the spring is held back. Reinstall and tighten the screw and hall sensor board securely. Okay. So we're going to take our hall board. Make sure I can do this on camera with you guys. We're going to put the hall board back on there. I'm going to put my screw back in the hall board. And I'm going to try to find my screwdriver. There it is. You guys see me on camera here? No, you really can't. Let me go down there. There we go. This is the tricky part. Doing this while trying to maintain camera accuracy. Okay, you guys can see the screwdriver. There we go. I'm just tightening it up. I'm not sure I have it slotted in there, but yeah, it's tightening. So they don't really say how tight to make it. I'm going to assume that you're going to want to tighten it to where you feel some resistance, and then just a little bit past that. This is difficult. There it is. And then my haul board's not exactly straight, so I'm going to try to fix that. I'm going to loosen it back up and try to keep it in place. I'm going to switch hands here real quick, guys. So, because I'm right-handed, not left-handed. All right, let's see. That's where the camera's at. So I'm going to loosen this up again. So I'm going to try to keep this from spinning down. I got to keep resistance on the back side. And to see how it's straight now, I don't know if I'm going to check the camera. That hull board has got to be straight in there, according to the picture. If it's angled at all, I don't think it'll be in the right position. So in order for me to do that, I had to use my left hand and hold pressure right here downward so it didn't spin the front side up. So now that that's reassembled, it's not finger tight, but it's tight, but not over tight, if that makes sense. Now they want us to reassemble everything. Reinstall and tighten the screw and hall sensor board. Reassemble the components. We're going to reassemble our components here. If you haven't watched our video on how to unjam the extruder, this would be a good point to watch this. So, I don't know if you guys can see. This cutter right here is probably the most pain in the butt part to do this. So this has got to go in horizontally in order for it to go in. And that horizontal position has got to go, let's see if I can get this right here in this slot. Right there in that slot horizontally. Or your filament cutter won't pop up properly. I'm trying not to touch the circuit boards here because I don't want the oils on my hand to get on there. So we're going to push this up. Gotta remember how I did this. There was an easy way to do this before. I think it was I held it up while I just slotted it in there. It's been a minute since I disassembled this, which is a good thing because that means I'm not having to work on it a whole lot. This is the hardest part, guys, of assembling this extruder. So bear with me. I know I made it look easy in the video, but that was with lots of practice. See how I can't push my lever? That means it's not installed correctly at all. So we're going to try this again. I see where it belongs. It's got to go in there. Nope, still not correct. You want to make sure you don't catch this ribbon cable or anything because that's important. That's how your extruder heats, or your nozzle system heats. Sometimes it takes a few tries, especially if you haven't assembled it recently. So, all sorts of printer problems tonight on the live screening episode. All right, so if you can see, I have it on there, and I press it, and it comes back out. Again, be careful of this ribbon cable that you don't pinch it. So hold it up there if you can. Frozen, I actually believe they recommended taking this piece of tape and taping it up there, but I don't like taking that off of there. So I like to put it back the way it came to me in the factory. So this springs out properly, so we know it's in place the way it's supposed to be. Before I attach the ribbon cable, I'm going to place at least one screw so that it doesn't fall apart again. And it would help if I had the right screwdriver. I'll check the comments here in just a second, guys and gals. We're okay, it started tightening. I'm going to put in a second screw in on the top left to help hold it while I plug everything back in before I tighten everything down. Well, not everything, but the ribbon cable back in. So we got that screw threaded on here. Now I'm going to plug my ribbon cable back in. I think for this, you're supposed to have the machine off, but again, Frozen, you did not put that in the directions. At least I did not see that. So in my editing video, I probably will make that disclaimer in the beginning. So there's the third screw. I'm going to tighten these screws back in. I'm going to do that to where tighten them all the way in until you start feeling resistance. It's the way I do mine. You don't have to do it that way, I don't think. But so now all three of them have resistance on them. So now I'll go back and tighten them further. So the bottom right, I tighten really well. Probably half a turn more until I can't turn it anymore, but I'm not trying to use gorilla strength to turn it. It's just it becomes difficult to turn, and that's when I stop. And then I go up to the upper left. I do the same thing. I turn it until it becomes difficult to turn, and then stop. And finally, the third screw. I do the same thing. I turn it until it becomes difficult to turn, and then I stop. And then we're going to take if I remember correctly, there's no parts left in the basket, so that's good. That means we've reassembled it properly. I'm going to take our blue connector with the red and black wires for our fan assembly. We're going to reconnect that back to our blue plug. And then I'm going to put that tape back over and make sure our ribbon cable is seated properly, because if it doesn't, you will not get proper heating. One of our channel members or subscribers recommended that to me. Shout out to them. That magnetic clips back on there. I'm going to put our Bowden clip back on here. That should be fully assembled. We have no parts left in our basket. I probably could do with printing a smaller basket for that. I'm going to take our screwdrivers and put them back. If you guys noticed, I'm going to take a second to catch up on the comments. If you guys see that I missed something, let me know. Or if I'm good to go, if you guys could drop that in the comments. Give me a thumbs up if we're good to go. I didn't see any issues with what we had there. I'm going to drop a pole. Assembled, fully good to go. Let's see. You guys let me know. Did I miss anything? I'm going to change our cameras back around here. We're going to turn the webcam back on. We're going to narrow this back. Oops. Narrow this back down to where it's supposed to be. Oh, what's going on here? Weird. There we go. All right. So looks like everybody's agreeing so far that we've got it assembled correctly. So now what I want to do is I want to take this and, well, first of all, I don't know if you guys, let me change that back. I'm going to turn the Frozen cam back on for a second and show you guys. So this is the build plate down here. That's some leftover stuff that I was trying to print. I'm going to take that off of there real quick. It's just PLA or PLA Plus 2.0 by Sunlu. That was loud, sorry. And I need to find my scraper. Where did I put my scraper? There it is. It's hanging up on the wall. So I'm going to scrape that off real quick so that it's not on the build plate. Or maybe I'm going to scrape it off. I might have to print something on top of that, maybe. I don't know. It's kind of tough. Turn back the other camera. Webcam. Turn the frozen camera off. So I'm just scraping that off here real quick. It's just a thin first layer. I was trying to print the top of that acorn plant container / base. And that's about as far as it would get, just that first layer and some of the infill after that, above it, before it wanted to say that the filament was running out. And I was like, that's weird. So if that was what we did, fixed it, that'd be awesome. Now you're going to see, I'm going to demonstrate for you all my, some people call it a bad habit. Others, you know, swear by using hairspray to help adhesion. I haven't had any issues with the Arco yet with that, but it's just, I use hairspray. I'm going to go off camera real quick and do this because I don't want to be near any of the electronic equipment. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to spray it. Sprayed. You don't want to do this around any electronics because hairspray is flammable, things like that. So we're going to go over here. That has been sprayed. Putting that back on here, I'll turn the frozen camera on for you guys to see. And you guys can see I turned this light on up here. I don't need this on anymore. So I'm going to adjust the camera just a little bit. It looks like it's a little crooked. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to bring the extruder forward so that maybe you guys can see it. Again, I do believe we were supposed to do that with the power off, but all right. So we got a little bit of loose filament here. I'm going to bring the extruder to the right so you can see it. Maybe down a little bit. No, I'll do it up. So you can see the nozzle. I actually really like this new camera setup here. So I'm going to change the camera angle here so you'll be able to see it coming right out of the nozzle. Even better than I can. So what we should be able to accomplish here is I should be able to extrude out of this after I preheat it to its 225 required temperature for PLA Plus 2.0. We're preheating. I'm going to make this a smaller for you guys so that we can, I'm going to turn off the screen capture, turn my camera back on, and readjust this picture for you all. While we're doing that, I'm going to adjust the AMS here because this lovely coarse filament doesn't like to retract. Trying to print a glow dragon for our upcoming event. All right, we're preheated. Now I should be able to hit the extrude button and we should see stuff come out. Oh wait, I gotta push the filament back down. Now I should be able to hit the extrude button. And filament should be able to come out. And that's a little worrisome because I'm not getting any filament to come out that I see. So that tells me we got something going on here. I'm going to try to retract it. The question is, did I just break my printer? Oh, it's actually having a hard time going through the PTFE tube, actually. So I'm going to pull it back out. I might have to trim some of that filament off. Yeah. So sometimes when you retract filament, it can swell on the end and cause an issue of trying to go back through the PTFE tube. I just cut the end off. That should make it much easier to slide the filament through the PTFE tube. I think that's what was causing it not to. I don't think the extruder was able to grab it because of the swelling on the end of the PLA. Feed that back down through there. All right, now let's see if it'll extrude. Make sure that this is seated properly. Now I notice that my lever's not popping out all the way. I think we may have to disassemble this again, guys. Something's not adding up here. Well, bear with me while I disassemble it again. Actually, before I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the machine off. Maybe it needs to be reset. Then turn it back on again. Maybe since I didn't turn it off, it didn't calibrate itself properly for extrusion. Still waiting for it to start up. While we're waiting for that, waiting for our AMS light here to continue its thing. Let me see what's going on with this directions. Iceman74, what's going on? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the channel. We're just doing some hard work on the Arco here. I've been having some issues with the our wood PLA printed out great. My Tiki came out great, but I've been having an issue with it ever since. It gets like 2 layers, not even 2 layers, a layer and a half into a print, and then it wants to say the filament ran out, and I have not experienced that yet, so that's what we're troubleshooting right now. And Arco's got the false trigger. I'll put that in the chat for you guys. They got this article out there that supposedly says it's a sensor not a malfunction, but like not functioning properly. So now I'm gonna go back in here. I'm gonna move this forward for you guys again so you can see it. Let me turn that printer cam back on. All right, so there's the nozzle. Now we're gonna preheat back up to 225. We're gonna see if that restart fixed whatever was going on with those non-extrusion that we're having. If it didn't, I'm actually gonna make this smaller. If it didn't, we're gonna have to disassemble it and reassemble it again. Because we must have missed something, or maybe the extruder gear wasn't aligned properly, so it's not pushing the filament. That is a possibility. And I hate to say it, but I think that's what happened. I think the extruder gears are not aligned properly, so we're going to put this back down to 0 because it's not pushing filament. And then we're going to do the same thing over again. This one shouldn't be hard because we've done it. If your extruder gears are not connected and aligned, obviously it's not going to push filament. So once this is cooled down a little bit, right now it's still 200 degrees. I'm going to remove the magnetic cover again. We're going to disconnect that blue cable again. We're going to get our handy dandy basket back out. I'm going to see if you guys can see what I want to see. I need to adjust the camera up just a little bit. And I'll actually move the printer head down. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to move it back a little bit though, so I can give my hands some room to work. Well, I put those screwdrivers back, but now I still need them. All right. So since I zoomed in earlier, I'm not going to do it again here. I'm just going to loosen these screws again. It's still hot, just so you guys know. I am going to remove that ribbon cable. Probably shouldn't do that with the power on, but I don't have a choice with the camera. I need the light. I have to get a mountable clamp light. I have one above me, but I need it for up there. So we're going to take these off again. Remember that your extruder is still hot if you've just preheated like I had to extrude. Or your nozzle still hot. So is that whole assembly in there. I think all of us in here has taken that heat that has. I think all of us in here has taken that head apart now. Yeah, I think we all have. I think we all have, Iceman. So I think what happened here is I'm trying not to touch the hot part. Something's not allowing. Wasn't allowing the filament. I don't know if you guys can see or not. Wasn't allowing the filament to go down into the extruder gear or extruder assembly. So I'm going to make sure everything's cleaned out here. Sometimes it can also be that for whatever reason the cutter slipped a little bit and it wasn't fully in there properly, and it gets stuck in this position. That's why I had to bounce it back out, and then it doesn't retract fully. So we're going to try that again. Try not to touch that hot part because it sucks if you burn your fingers. Okay, it's popping out, but it's not oh, I needed to retract that filament. Shoot. No, it's not. It's not in there. So this needs to get in there. You can do it. You guys enjoy seeing me take apart this several times on the same video, hit that thumbs up button. So I don't know why that's wobbly. That should not be wobbly. It tells me something that's not aligned properly. What's going on here? I remember that this part of the video, sometimes you have to readjust this spring down here. You can get to it sometimes. But there shouldn't be any issues of why we're not being able to spring back out here. I try to use my screwdriver to get this aligned properly. So this cutter needs to be propped up just a little bit higher. Maybe I can do it this way. You might think I'm talking to myself, but I'm really talking to you guys. All right, this has got to go in here. This is the hard part. That filament cutter is, I wish there was an easier way to assemble this. Okay. And not burn your fingers. Okay, so that feels like it's on there properly. Drop it in the comments on how many times you think I'll have to take this apart tonight to get it to extrude filament. My guess is going to be 3 times. This is our 2nd time. I'm going to tighten the screw up here a little bit. I want to make sure that my filament cutter bounces out. It is bouncing back out. That's good. That makes me happy. I'll put these other 2 screws in. And then before I tighten them all the way down, I'm going to test that filament cutter one more time for you all. Because if that doesn't bounce out, that means I can't get filament to go in. And if you're wondering about the QR code that's on the back of my shirt, you can go ahead and scan that if you want, but it's just going to take you back here to YouTube. This shirt I usually wear at our craft fairs and stuff, so people know that we have a YouTube channel. So, but what it can do is take you back to our homepage, and you can subscribe to the channel. Trying to build ourselves a little 3D printing community here on the common practices on what you have to work on your printers with. We'll try to keep these printers going. All right, those are pretty tight. We're going to reseed this here. And before I take this thing apart again, or before I put that cover back on, I'm going to see if it extrudes. Actually, I want 225 is what I'm going to preheat to. Normally, I would put the cover back on, but I really don't know if the filament's going to actually go through. So it almost looks like my nozzle's bent a little bit. That's weird. So as we wait for that to preheat, sounds like our A1 Mini here is, I can't wait for that filament hub. So as you guys are seeing, as we're working on the Phrozen Arco, this A1 Mini, that glow filament does not want to retract because the motors on this AMS Lite are not strong enough to retract it with the friction that the coarse filament has going through the PTFE tubes. That is why with that new AMS hub that you can purchase from Bambu that they just released in the last couple of days, which I can't get for some reason when I click on it, it should eliminate that because it allows you to use the actual AMS systems that Bambu has, the AMS1, the AMS2 Pro, AMS HT, I think is what it's called. And those have a little bit more powerful motors to pull that filament back out of the extruder. I do believe I'm also going to have to purchase the single nozzle PTFE tube insert versus the 4 that's in there now. I don't know what I did with my original one, so shout out to you guys if you do get the A1 Mini. I'll put a link in the Amazon description below. I don't have affiliate links for Bambu yet, but I do have for Amazon. do not discard that single PTFE tube adapter. All right, we're preheated. Sorry, I bumped the camera. Please, oh please, 3D printing gods, let us extrude. Oh no. That's not good. We do not have extrusion. It's catching resistance on something. I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna take the PTFE tube clip off. I'm gonna try to pull the PTFE tube out and then reinsert it. Maybe it's not aligning properly. And I'm gonna put that PTFE tube clip back on. I don't know if you guys can see me do that on camera now. It looks like it was just off camera. And then I'm gonna try to extrude again. Still not extruding. Drop it in the comments if you guys think that I missed something, or if it's my suspicion is that it's not extruding because something's blocking the filament from going into the extruder gears. I'm guessing it's that filament cutter. Iceman 74. I just got the A1 today, so, and taking it out of the box. Yeah, I want to get the A1 so bad. I love my Mini. I love Alphie. He's great. But that little bit bigger of a build plate, you know, it's kind of nice. It's the same exact size build plate as the P1S's. So, and the price point, $200. I had a $50 coupon a while back that I was going to use with it, but I'm going to save that coupon for something else. Is going to be, that's crazy ridiculous. Especially if you already have AMS systems. Now that you can use that with those, that's cool. All right, so I'm going to try taking it out, taking it back off again. I'm actually going to turn it all the way off this time. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to take this light here and turn this on so you guys can see how that's doing. Oh, cool. So you can still see. So everything's off now. Probably should have did that the way I didn't know if the camera would work or not if I didn't use the interior light. But it seems like there's enough. That's the wrong screwdriver. Seems like there's enough light there now. I was going to block it with my head. So we're going to take those screws back off. I'm going to take that ribbon cable off again for the third time today. Take these screws back off. If you watch this video all the way through after the live stream, you are a champ to watch this go through all this. If you're on the live stream and you've watched this go through all this, you are a champ. I appreciate you getting us those lovely watch hours so we can get to that sweet, sweet monetization. So, whoops. Again, try not to block the camera light with my head. Now, I'm going to try to pull this off carefully so I can see what's going on with this filament as it's going in. I did not retract it for a reason. Okay, so I think I know what's going on now. So if I had not retracted, if I had retracted the filament going through this, in theory, you should still see some of the brown filament coming out of this section right here. But we don't. So that tells me the filament is not going all the way through past the part that we just took off. Because I should, in theory, be able to push the filament past that part. And I cannot. So that tells me our magnet sensor is still not working properly. Ow, and it's still hot, by the way. So I'm going to take that bad boy back apart here real quick. Now that I know how to do it. Maybe, yeah, there we go. Throwing the screw back in the basket. I'm trying to do this so you guys can see. Don't touch that copper part, kids. It's still hot. So we're going to remove this. And that sensor is not where... All right, let me go back and read those directions again for that document, because I think whatever's going on there has to do with the sensor, because the filament is not going through. Let's see if we got any comments here. No, not yet. I'm going to go back to the step to where it says disassemble. It wants... Yeah, the short side's got to go up. I'm going to pull that back out of there. I'm going to try to make sure I see it on camera. Or you guys see it on camera. I'll enlarge the camera so you can see it. You'll still see a little bit of the other camera behind it. But I'm going to pull that back out of there with my screwdriver because it is magnetic. And I'm going to set this in the basket for right now so I don't lose it. And now I'm going to try to push the filament in through there. Yeah, so that's exactly what was happening. Ow, still hot. All right, so now you can see I can push the filament through there. So that tells me that that piece was not functioning properly. So let's try to get that to function properly. So now I'm going to try to put it back in the way it's supposed to be and not touch the hot end. I almost did it here again. And of course, I got to set this down for a second. I have attracted a screw to the part that's magnetic. All right. According to the Phrozen website. Oops, I got to turn this around. According to the Phrozen website, I have this backwards. Oops. Got to put the spring back on here. I don't know if you guys can see that on camera or not, but that is the orientation that it needs to go in with the spring. And the reason why is so when the filament comes down, it hits the slanted slot and it pushes it in. And when it comes back out, the spring pushes it back. So I'm going to try to put that back in there on camera so you guys can see. Stand to the side so I can see the camera. So we're going to slide this over here. We're going to slide that in there. Just like that. And we're going to hold our finger in there. Trying, if it's off camera, sorry guys. To hold the spring. Oh, nope, didn't work. To hold the spring in there. Nope. That spring is hard to hold in there. My fingers are too big. Nope. This is a difficult one. Okay. Okay, the spring didn't go in there the right way. Doesn't want to stay on the magnet. That magnet wants to stick to everything but where it's supposed to go. And now my spring is magnetically stuck to my fan cover magnets. And now the spring is gone. Uh-oh. The spring is sprung. I am actually going to take my clamp plate and this is why even with a basket I'm losing this. This is not good, guys. This is not good. Let's put that magnet in the basket and try to see if we can find where that spring went in our printer here. Luckily this is movable. We're trying to do stuff here, but without that spring, we're not doing anything. We're not doing anything without that spring. I have no idea where that thing has gone to in here. There are so many places in here that it could have gone on the floor. Oh boy. Well, guys, that's not good. Pushing the brass insert. I will do that after I find our spring. Yay. Make sure it's not in their fan assembly. It is not. Well, drop it in the comments, you guys, if you think that this interior could have been designed without so many holes in it that things can get lost in. Yes or no? I'm going to turn our overhead light on over here. So, what are the odd chances of that coming out the poop chute in the back? I gotta walk around because I can't cross over that camera cord. This is by the way, this printer is abnormally heavy. Can't really see. I can move this LED printer over so I can get back there a little bit better. So I am not seeing it come out the poop chute. Thankfully, I've not cut that hole in here yet, so any of the poop that does come out here just collects right here. And there's nothing there. Oh boy. So we're gonna grab this. We're gonna use the clear panels on the side to see if we can see it in there. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. I don't know where that went to. I do have an extra hot end assembly, like the entire assembly coming from Frozen. Andrew Crowd, good luck. We are counting on your airplane reference. Yeah. So this one might be the Ken pauses this for tonight for at least the printer, anyways, because we don't know where that went to. And continue on with the live stream with other topics. Yeah, I'll come back to this later, guys, and I'll drop once I find it. I'll drop a video on what not to do with your Arco 3D printer. Treat that spring like it's your last resort, because it is. It's your lifeline with this printer. I'm finding tons of filament everywhere, but no spring. My guess is it probably fell down into the Z-axis assemblies. and getting that out of there is not going to be easy if it did. So we'll put this on pause for tonight for that one. We'll talk about the other stuff that I would like to talk about. So that was fun. Close this up here real quick. Oh, this thing's so heavy. So you guys know to cherish that spring with your life. If you go to, I can unplug this cord too. Go to work on this printer, cherish it. Treat it like it's your firstborn child, like you're never gonna see it again, because you might not. So let's continue on. We'll eat another one of these buffalo pretzels. Let's see how we're doing here. Those look pretty hot, but Andrew, that's a good question. What changes will they make for a V2? I hope that sensor is one of them. Oh, me too. I think there's a way better sensor they could do. If not, send extra springs. Something that's that small. The springs are needed. It's hot. Something else I'd like to see them change. Obviously, catch up with like the multi-two heads or multi-nozzle switchers for the multicolored printing. But I would really like them to change all those little compartments around the Z-axis rods and back there in the back, to where if you are working on the printer, things can fall into it and disappear. Because I'm not turning this thing over unless I absolutely have to take the bottom off. Or if they are going to do that kind of a system, give us the files that we can print to close those holes off. David, and make the cutter easier to insert. Seriously, that is the design flaw. Yeah. So this printer may be out of commission until we get those other parts in from Frozen. And they're coming from China, so it might be a minute. Let me get some things organized here. Oh, man. But who knows? Maybe we'll get our snap maker in pretty soon. I heard those are shipping pretty fast. Let me go check out, see if we have an update on that. See if they sent us our backer email yet. Oh, I gotta stop eating those. Those are so hot. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is. My eyes are tearing up. Oh. And no, I'm not crying because of the spring, guys. I wish I was, but. Woo. Snap maker. That's what I was trying to type. No, the last email I got from them was a stretch goal reward. Holy moly. Those are some hot pretzels. Wow. So, let me show you guys what I was referring to earlier when I went to the Bambu website to see accessories. Might have to search for it. A1 AMS. Man, those pretzels burn when they go down. I guess A1 AMS hub would be proper. If you guys can find the link to that'd be great if you drop it in the description if I don't find it here a second. I'm trying to find out why I couldn't order it. Printers, A1 series. I wonder if I just type it in Google if it'll bring it up. A1 AMS hub. Yeah. Really? So, which one of you guys said that you were able to get it? Get the cats involved. Tell them to find that spring. Actually, the funny story is they do like springs, so if they could find it, hopefully they wouldn't eat it. Andrew, was it you that said that you got the AMS? Do you live in the United States? Or who was it that said it? Because and I'll share my screen here. Screen capture. We'll close off the webcam here. So when I go to the AMS hub that I want to order here, let me scroll down. So this is what I want to order: AMS hub A1 series, 1999. Compatibility A1 series, quantity 1. I still get the estimated November 7th, 2025. Notify me when available. And it says, please contact an authorized reseller if you can't find your country or region in our online store. So does that mean I have to order it from somewhere else? That would be very sad. Are they just not going to ship to the United States because of the tariff situation? They're going to make resellers do it? What do you guys think? Oh, where am I? Who was it that said they have the AMS hub? Sorry, just going back in the chat. Oh, it was David. David, I'm pretty sure you live in the United States. When the sale started, I bought filament and they had the hub in stock, so I picked it up. Going to try it this weekend. Huh. So is it out of stock then? Usually when it's out of stock, it says out of stock, like on here. But I guess maybe I can try Amazon. Maybe they have it on Amazon. Oops. Didn't need that in there. No, I'm not seeing it. No luck on there either. Dang, that's a bummer. I really wanted to order that thing. It does say ETA November 7th. And it's only the 5th. So maybe I can't get it until the 7th. That'd be weird. Oops. And I still see that they haven't released anything on the H2 or H2C yet. That's interesting. Well, then I guess that means I'm not printing with glow filaments until, or at least on the A1 Mini, until I get that. I mean, I'm printing with it now, but this is not the way to do it. As you can see, I keep having to retract it back just slightly because of that friction. You ordered on October 21st? Did they? I didn't even know they were out that early. I thought they weren't going to release it until November. Because I got an email stating that they were going to release it November 7th. Huh. You got it in on the early bird. Good job. It makes a huge difference. I will tell you, I have far less issues with my other machines with AMS systems than I do with the AMS Lite with this glow filament stuff. Trying to figure out. So I was hoping that we could get that back up and running, but no spring, no luck. Let's see what other 3D printing news is out there right now. We talked about the Creality, it was a K2 Max, I believe, earlier. So that's pretty exciting to see. Last week we talked about how exciting that is that that Bambu patent came out. That I watched some other videos. Excuse me. Shout out to 3D printer Mike. He had a theory of what it could be with that printer or patent. I really think that they're going to release they're going to release the HUC here shortly. If not by Christmas, then probably beginning of next year. I don't remember exactly when they released the H2D. I imagine it'll probably be right around that same time. And then they're going to release the P2C. I can imagine, I can't imagine them not having a more budget-friendly version of that tool changer system in a smaller build plate. Just for those of us that don't need the giant machine, that's going to cost probably $3,000 when the announcement, if the announcement to the US. Still can't get the P2S here, which is a bummer because that seems like it's a good machine. Prusa announced the Core 1. I missed that one. Let me check that out. Prusa announced Core 1. Yeah, the tariffs. I must have missed something on the tariffs that happened today because even Prusa is saying on their website all import duties or tariffs are included. This is wild. Oof. That's a $1,700 or $1,800 price tag with the Core 1 versus Core 1L. Share my screen. take that out of here. I'm gonna hide this one. There we go. So the Prusa Core 1L is also open RFID filament spools. Yep, I heard that. I hope that the 3D printing community really backs that and runs with it, because having all the filament be standardized would be nice. Just upload it in the machine and boop, pops up in your filament selections. New orders will be shipped during the week of November 24th. Shipping launches on November 7th. Wow. They're ready to go with this printer. Now I want to know more about it. Let's see. Seamless workflow, specs, packages included. You get Prusa, you get own the machine, not just the license to use it. So that's their caveat to Bambu. Bambu, you own the license to use it, not the machine. Because they lock you out of upgrades. Like their Panda Nomi here, we have to use it in LAN only mode because they don't want access to their machines. The Core 1L is much more than just a large Core 1. We didn't just scale it up, we took everything at Orch. It comes with a detachable 1080p camera with night vision. Wow. 2 nozzles in the package, fully on automatic chamber temperature management, easier flex filament feeding, and much more. The machine covers everything from ambitious hobby projects to many manufacturers. 300 by 300 by 300. It's got new heat distribution, no cold corners, fast heat up. So that's their build plate. Or no, that's not the build plate, but that's the heating mechanisms for the build plate. That's cool to see. Unpack and print. 5 minutes from unpacking the first print. Okay. I see you, Prusa. So this is just another, I shouldn't say just another, this is another single color, or not, well, I guess it is a single color because I don't see any AMS that goes with it, along with like tool changers and stuff. Unless I'm missing something. Engineered durable without warping, flex, robust steel exoskeleton, all in one package, optimized for plant farms and industrial applications. No walled garden or under locks. Designed for offline use, built to strong foundation. Okay. Port 1 is compatible with the MMU3, the add-on for the fastest single nozzle printing with up to 5 filaments at the same time. You can create beautiful colored objects and you won't have to throw half of your filaments away. This is what I was looking for. Or constantly clean surroundings of your printer solution. It uses innovative retraction technique and compact wipe tower to manage filament changes. This not only reduces wasted filament, but also deposits all the waste in a single tiny block MMU3. The 41L will be released in early 2026. Okay. Let me get back to the screen here and we'll talk about that. We'll turn this back on, that off. And they announced the new print head for the XL that prints silicone. That's cool. They added the Bondtech index like they teased for the standard Core 1 with 7 toolets. That will be awesome. So all these, and this is because I still feel a little salty towards Elegoo. We don't have any information on that yet, as far as I know as a channel and as a platform, but buying printers with promises is dangerous. They say that they could do it, but if something comes up that the R&D team that says that, hey, it's actually not going to work, then you've bought a printer that you're kind of stuck with. I mean, it's great if you just need single color, or if the MMU3 works with it, is enough for you. But what I'm looking for is that colorless, or not colorless. This isn't Pokemon. The printers that are going to have those nozzle swappers or the tool heads, like you're saying, the index system, David, those systems are going to change multicolor printing forever. Not having that waste, hopefully they don't, it's not hard to work on. Looking at you, Frozen. um, that's what I think the industry is going towards. So I'm super excited to see that. If that Core 1 that just got released is able to do that, that would be excellent. I'll probably wait to, get closer to purchasing something like that once I see that it actually happens. Just because I'm learning my lesson hard with the Elegoo Centauri Carbon. Shout out to you, Elegoo. Not necessarily a shout out, but pointing out the issue that's currently still ongoing. We don't know. Are we going to get that multicolor unit for the Centauri Carbon? We got the Centauri Carbon 2 out in China. They got multicolor on the side. What's the news on that? I have no idea. I'm even in the Elegoo Discord, and they don't even know what's going on in there. There's just a lot of anger in the community right now towards that. And rightfully so, because a lot of people bought those printers thinking that there's multicolor coming with it. Like the Incremake M5 that was going to have an add-on with 6 nozzles. Yeah, David, you're right. That M5 when they advertised it, I think it was on Kickstarter, wasn't it? Maybe I'm wrong. But they advertised it with those, and then all of a sudden the project just fell through. So what do we do then? We're out money, we're out time, we're out investment. So just keep that in the back of your mind when you're looking at these 3D printers. It's important to think about, okay, they're making this promise, and the company has got a brand name, and we should trust them. But also at the same time, what if they don't follow through, or not even if they don't? What if they can't, like physically can't? The R&D is not there to support it. And when I say R&D, I mean research and development. They go there and they say, hey, this physically cannot be done because of limitations of technology. That happens. So then we've invested in a printer that we can use it, but is it what we needed? I think that's what's going to happen with Centauri Carbon if they don't have a solution for that multicolor promise. Well, I have a printer that can print great single color, but I need that multicolor system. Now we're getting, as a community, we're getting to where we need that multicolor system that is efficient. We need that color, or that, here I go with colorless again, that color purgeless system that doesn't waste a third of the filament just in pooping it out the back of the machine. That's what I think the community is looking for, especially for makers like me that take their things to the art fairs and sell them. If it can save time and it can save material costs, I'm all for it. But it's got to be proven. Even with the Snapmaker U1, the printers are being made. Like, we know it's fully funded. We know it's most likely going to happen, but we're still taking that risk as consumers that, hey, it might not be all what it's supposed to be. But then again, it may be. It's just that risk. Something like when the H2C, when it comes out for Bambu, we know that's going to work because they're releasing it as a company, not as a Kickstarter, and there's not any promises being made. It's a physical product that we can purchase. It's going to be expensive, though. I promise that. David says, that was why I backed it. Yeah, because they were already getting towards production. Yeah, I'm assuming you meant the Snapmaker U1, David. They're already getting towards production. So we got to see units. We got to see the testers out there in the world. They were ready. They could have launched that as a company on the side on their own and been just fine with it, but they decided to use Kickstarter, which in my mind was kind of smart. It gave them a little bit more media exposure to it. And we'll see on how successful that is when it gets to launch. We're going to get one some point between December and April at some point if they continue on production schedule. And that's something else we should talk about, because with the Frozen printer, production delays happen and it's out of our control. So just because you back something doesn't mean it's going to get to you, I mean, for one, at all, or two, if it won't be delayed several times because of R&D. Now, if they've already got the machines, that it's not just a concept, then the R&D may be a little bit less. And that's where, again, where Snapmaker, I think they came with a product. They had probably several basic units that were ready to go, and just had to refine it and the assembly process. So I think that's why, as a community, that was a little bit better project to back. So it's important to if you have specific needs for your printing, don't buy or back something just based on promises. Get your product that is already there. If it's not already there, just wait for it. That way you make sure that you get what you're supposed to, or get what you need, and not hanging on a prayer. Shout out to that music artist, or living on a prayer. David. Yeah, HTC, I want one, but if it's as expensive as I suspect, we'll wait 6 months for all the early adopters, beta testers, and wait for it to go on sale. Um, yeah, I think so too. We'll see what that price point comes out at. If it's anything like the launches that happened last year, we watched the H2D come out. It came out, everybody was hyped about it, and it's cool that it has a laser engraver in it. Don't get me wrong. I got a laser engraver. I don't really use it. I got the Elegoo Fecta laser engraver. It's cool. I use it a few times, but I don't use it as much as I wish I could. Uh, it's not something that is in my niche realm yet, but I'm getting there. Lightburn and that program is pretty fun to learn. But what I'm getting at is we saw it come out, people were hyped about it, and then there was mixed reviews about it. And then we saw as a community that people just wanted the larger form factor, which is great. And you had the dual color. That was the biggest. I almost pulled the trigger on it when it first came out, because that was cool. You have two colors and you have the ability to print in two colors and not waste a bunch of filament. But I was like, I feel like that's a stepping stone towards something that Bambu is working towards. Then I don't know how many months later it was that H2S that came out. And I was like, oh, that's cool. They finally listened to the community and they did that larger form factor. But when they released the H2S, and if you guys were there, they did that Discord Reddit post along with it, and then I think it was a video afterwards too of the pre-announcement of the H2C, because Snapmaker came into the world and said, "Hey, we got this multicolored stuff, and we're gonna handle it." So it's coming. What the price point is going to be, it may be that Snapmaker has got it with those four colors, and that's all I really print with is four colors at a time. I think I've done like a dozen or so prints that are more than four colors, just because there's a lot of filament waste associated with it. But if I had to guess, Snapmaker is eventually going to come up with their own multi-material unit that can put multiple materials into their four nozzles at one time. While it's printing with one filament, it can prepare the next. That, to me, would be smart. I also think that's why Bambu patented that already, because they want to be able to use their AMS systems with their Vortex system. So they're going to proprietary that, and unless they can, the other companies can figure out some way to show that they've changed it in enough of a way, they might have to license it from Bambu. So that's kind of where I think that the world of multicolor printing is headed towards. So if you're just not joining us on a live stream, we've covered lots of repair time on the Phrozen Arco. That didn't work out as well as we thought, because we lost that spring. We'll have to find it or get another order sent to us. I wish there was some in the package. Kudos to Snapmaker to be a disruptor. Yeah, Snapmaker, David, is changing the game when it comes to that. I hope that printer works out as well as it's supposed to and hyped out to be, because I could see later on down the line, if the H2C doesn't have a more budget-friendly version, a lot of people will go to Snapmaker for those multicolor prints, especially if they come out as comparable quality to what comes out on the P1S and P2S. But I think that's where we're headed. But we also talked about how coarse not only glow filament is, but like things like wood filament and carbon fiber filaments. the issues with AMS have is that the AMS systems have with retracting, especially the AMS Lite on the A1 Mini and A1 period. It gets friction on the inside of the PTFE tube and the motors can't retract it. Not so much on the standard AMSs, as speak to the devil. This is what we have to do. We have to roll back the glow filament just a little ways and then wait for the machine to catch up. Actually, I can do it on the computer here. Devices and then Alphie. And then once that goes through, it retracts. That's what that AMS hub is going to be great for these A1 systems, especially since you can get this for less than $200. That's crazy low, especially for the Black Friday sales that are coming out. And I'm suspecting that these printers will drop even lower on actual Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Not much, but probably be a little bit more. Especially since I have a suspicion. Again, this isn't me reaching out into the space and putting two and two together in my mind. Since they use that nozzle swapping that's very similar on the H2S and P2S, I think they're going to come back and they're going to revisit these and offer the same kind of thing without an enclosure. Maybe not the multicolor vortex system with it, but maybe a dual nozzle like the H2D has, but on the A1 and A1 Mini, having that dual nozzle. The A1 Mini, I'm sure, will be a little bit bigger, but having the two colors on there, that'd be pretty cool. So, Havoc 3D. So I'm just catching this on the live stream chat. Havoc 3D says Nero did an unboxing today. Nero, is that a content creator or is that a Nero 3D unboxing? Okay, so they look to be a content creator. So they did an unboxing today. That's cool. Did they do it on the Prusa's new printer? It's pretty cool. Someday we will be popular enough to get those printers sent to us for unboxings and cool things like that. If you want to help us get to that point, you can hit that like or subscribe button. That'll help us out there if you haven't already. That's what we're doing. We're also in the works to get some of these affiliate links going. We got our some new affiliate link or in code Be Glorious for any filament you get from them. If you have a specific purchase that you want to make from Sunlu, let us send us an email to thegloriousgeeks01@gmail.com, and I can get you a direct link for that product, whichever one you want to buy, one of the filament dryers, Sunlu connector, and it'll give us a little bit of kickback on the channel. David Walton, yes, he is a Canadian. He did the new Core 1L. That's cool. At some point in time, I hope to be one of those content creators here on the community. I really want to be able to do things like that for you all. Bring things that are coming first and foremost, but not so much as like a big content creator, but like as a community, they say, hey, this is what this printer is really for. This is for this type of maker, this type of hobbyist, that kind of thing. So things like the A1 Mini, this is for like the entry level and for a great holiday gift for kids and teenagers, because this printer can grow with them. You can expand it to multicolor, and now you can expand it to the AMS system that are for these bigger ones, so they get familiarity. And then if they do want to upgrade later on, to one of the bigger machines, they are prepared for that journey, and we walk through with it. Or we do repair videos on like, hey, we're repairing our A1 Mini today, and this is what we got to do in order to get the nozzle or the extruder unjammed. Like literally today, I couldn't get the glow filament to come out. A piece broke in there, so had to take the hub off. And while it was still heated, I had to jam the no clogger on there. By the way, shout out to no clogger for making this tool. It's super helpful. I'll get one of those affiliate links for that on Amazon. Those things are cool. David Walden, Connect Creator is his YouTube name. Okay, cool. I'll have to check him out. And then I'm going to get some of those stickers out. David, I still got to get your sticker out to you. I haven't gone to the post office yet. I will get that out to you. I have not forgotten about that. If you guys do want a sticker, send me an email to thegloriousgeeks01@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us on Facebook, and we'll get you a sticker mailed out to you. It's just a way for us to say thank you for tuning into the live stream and supporting us as a channel. Since we're not a giant channel yet, we're doing things that we can do budget friendly wise. Stickers are pretty easily to do. Maybe at some point in this makerspace we'll get a hold of our Cricut and do like a exploratory adventure on that. But if you are just tuning in, we are printing with our A1 Mini. We were printing with. No, I don't think we actually were printing with our Phrozen Arco. We were troubleshooting it, and we have reached a dead end on that one. So if you follow us on the channel, and we've talked about glow film, we've talked about wood PLA, we've talked about some of the things that we think were coming up in the 3D printing world. Love that no clogger, by the way, lifesaver. Yeah, this thing, it's actually... David, this is actually how I unclog the Phrozen Arco to the hot end. I don't do it in a typical A fashion. Once I have the hot end off of there, what I'll do is I'll heat the end of this up, and then I'll heat the very, very end of the hot end with like little big torches that they have. Just the hot end. You don't want to heat anything else up. So once these two are heated up, I can jam it in there and get any of the jam out. I'll do a video on that at some point once this thing's back up and running. But that's what we're all about here on the Glorious Geeks channel, is getting you guys, if you're just now getting into the hobby, getting you guys acclimated with it. If you are in the hobby, learning and growing together. So I'm super, super excited about what we're building. So if you guys have any questions, you can email me at thegloriousgeeks01@gmail.com, or messages on Facebook, and we'll do our best to help you figure out if we have that version of a printer. We will troubleshoot it along with you. If we do not have that version of a printer, we will try to find the best resource online to get you where you need to go, whether that's documentation from the printer, or if there's another video out there by another creator that has that printer that can help you, we will get you that information as that content creator hub. I don't mind sending you to another content creator if it helps you. That's important, because that is what we are about, is getting the help that we need to as makers in this space. So if you guys have any questions for me, send those on my way. And until next week, be glorious.